Recorded live from the heart of the Bakken, it's the Williston Works Podcast.
Welcome to the Williston Works Podcast, brought to you by the City of Williston. Williston Works brings you in-depth discussions with the entrepreneurs, small business owners, and investors who are getting it done in Western North Dakota. I'm your host, Sean Wanko, Executive Director of the Williston Economic Development Office. I'm pleased to have with us today, our guest is Lev Cooper. He's the president of Dynamic Well Service Incorporated. Lev, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me today, Sean.
So let's talk a bit. I want to get back a little bit into your background and stuff. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Washington State.
Okay. And when did you relocate to Williston? What drew you here?
I came here in 2010. So I was working down in Houston, Texas, as a diesel mechanic, and 2008, 2009, got laid off when it slowed down, and 2010 the company called me back and asked if I wanted to come up to Williston, North Dakota. I originally moved out here, thought I was coming out for a short job, middle of winter time as well, so super cold. Everything was covered, white snow, freezing cold. I didn't think I would stay for a long time, but shortly after, or 3 months after I moved here, I met my wife and started a family, and we've got 6 children and great family life together. So excited to be here, and I mean, love the area.
That's one thing about Williston. It's no better place to raise a family. It's got that small town feel to it. I mean, population is probably around 31,000 for Williston proper. You might be another 8,000 or 9,000 just in the immediate vicinity, and then a lot of people that come in and work on a temporary basis. But it still has that small, town feel to it, where it's your kids can feel safe, your family can feel safe, and I think that's what keeps a lot of people here as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We live a little bit out of town, out in the country, so the kids have, room to roam. We've got the river close by. It's great being out in nature, but still being close to a growing city with, lots to do. And the fact that they built the Arc over the last few years, the restaurants they brought in, it's been great raising a family here.
And when you were with that company, because we're going to get into Dynamic Well Service. When was the transfer over to Dynamic Well Service then? Was that?
I started at Dynamic Well Services in 2015. Oil had slowed down a bit, and I actually took a step backwards when I came to the company. Started over as a hand, took a pay cut and a demotion to start this new company. I just, had that gut feeling that I needed to go to this company, and went over there. And from 2015 to 17, I worked my way up to management, and in 2018, I ended up purchasing the company from the previous owner.
That's one story here, and that's, I always talk about, again, I'm going to say opportunity in Williston, North Dakota, or Western North Dakota for that matter. But you go to a company, you work your way up. Things, there's ups and downs, and you had the slowdown at that, certain period of time with the oil and gas industry. But here you stick around, you worked your way up, and now you've bought the company and you're president of this. But a little background in Dynamic Well Service. What do you do, and where are you guys at? I mean, is it all Williams County? Are you down in McKenzie County? What does that look like?
Yeah, we're mainly focused in the Williams County area, but we currently work down in McKenzie County, Williams, Montreal, and we've worked out in eastern Montana as well. And but we generally stay within that 150-mile range of Williston.
How many employees do you have?
We're at 65 employees right now.
65 at peak. When let's say you're at peak operation, how high could you see that employment base?
So right before COVID hit, we actually were at 97 employees, and took a step back with COVID.
How low did you get during COVID with the employee base?
I believe we were down to 40, 45 employees.
That's and the reason I asked that question is I've been pointing out quite a bit in economic development is that we were, regardless of what you see in ups and down, with the price per barrel of oil or the industry itself, we were rolling as a city leading up to COVID. And COVID, we had just opened up a brand new international airport. We were days away from announcing a major retail development that was going to happen at the old airport. COVID hit, it blew everything apart. We spent the last several years trying to rebound from that, and I say that it probably set us back 5 or 6 years from a development standpoint. And I think all the companies said that. Like you said, you were down to 40 some employees, you're back up to 65. You're obviously in growth mode of what it sounds like out there. But point being said is that the opportunity is still here in Williston. The economy is healthy. It's still moving forward itself. Here you are. You're working for Dynamic Well Service. What gave you the itch to say, hey, I'm gonna, the opportunity is here to buy this company. I'm gonna buy it.
So I wasn't looking to buy it. I wanted to do a good job for the business and make it productive. It was losing money before I took over. I knew nothing about management, but I got in. I was like, nobody goes into business to lose money. There's got to be a way to straighten this out. So I went through, figured out where money was being lost, where we could raise the revenue and make more money. The business from 2017 to 18 started doing very well, and the previous owner asked me if I was interested in buying the business.
In a way, you went.
Yeah. So I wasn't really looking for it, but yeah, the opportunity came, and yeah, I went with it.
You're down in Houston, and yes, things slowed down, and the opportunity was in North Dakota, what you saw with the Bakken oil fields. But really, what is the draw to Western North Dakota? I mean, how does it compare to other parts of the United States?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been to many places across the country. I've got a lot of friends across the country. And I truly do think, and I mean, you've brought this up before, is there is incredible opportunity here for everybody. I mean, and especially right now as the economy's in a tough area. I mean, I see people in other regions where they're talking about jobs getting let go, or people are getting laid off in other parts of the country, and we still have a need for thousands of jobs up here. So
it's funny because it's almost like that narrative hasn't made it out of Western North Dakota, or the state of North Dakota for that matter. We were talking workforce in another podcast, and the number of 1.7 is 1.7% is the unemployment rate right now. That's almost zero unemployment that's out there, and it just hasn't resonated out there because you're seeing, yes, other parts of the country are starting to slow down, but again, Williston just kind of keeps ramping up and keeps moving forward, and that opportunity is there. And I think we still got to work to get the word out to drive more people here to see what sort of opportunity is available for them. If you're going to give some advice, the entrepreneur or the developer that's out there, they're looking at getting into Western North Dakota. Let look at two things. I mean, one, you're getting into business for yourself. What are some of the things maybe you wish you would have done different off the front end? And what are some of the pitfalls that you would say, hey, I would really take a look at this if you're thinking of buying your own business or da-da-da. What's some advice you'd give to a potential entrepreneur out there?
The biggest thing I would say is look for people that are already doing it and reach out and ask for help. One of the biggest things that I've noticed since I've become an entrepreneur and my own growth is that everybody that's doing more than me or is doing what I'm doing or wanting to do has been amazing to talk to and awesome for help. So I'm always looking to help other people, and I've had some incredible people help me as well.
Well, and this gets us kind of into the next segment of what we're going to talk about is when I talk, the question would be, what are the opportunities that are out there for investors and developers? And you didn't stop with Dynamic Well Service. You actually moved forward and you've purchased several buildings in our downtown area. Let's talk a bit about those. One, let's talk about the buildings first. What are they?
So we bought the old Jonah Art building first, and it was actually a neighbor of mine that came to me and asked if we wanted to purchase it with him. And all these buildings, I mean, we're going to be doing remodeling in them, but the first one, we're looking at doing a pizza restaurant, some offices and apartments, and the next three buildings down from there came up for sale shortly after that. And I had another group of investors, friends of mine from out of state, that had asked me if we're interested in purchasing those with them. We looked at these three buildings. They need some remodeling and regutting. They were originally set up for man camps when it was booming in 2010. And so they have to be completely repurposed. When we walked through them, my wife had mentioned doing a cigar bar, which isn't, I told her, it's not allowed in North Dakota, we can't do it. And as we started looking at legislation, it was something that was just going through the process of getting passed. And it passed as we were closing on the properties. So an amazing opportunity. And so that's the plan with the basement. And then the upstairs, there's apartments upstairs that we're looking to renovate and rehab and rent out, and then put some retail space on the main floor.
Well, and we also in another podcast we were talking with Scully Design that they're working on a redevelopment project. You guys are working on a rehab project. That's really going to do a lot for that corner down there. Again though, here you are. You bought this. You came in. You bought this oil. You bought Dynamic Well Service, and you're doing well with that. But then you just had the itch to purchase 4 more buildings. What is the draw about Williston that makes you want to continue to invest?
We originally started, we bought a couple houses. First, a flip house that we flipped and decided to rent out, and then bought another house to rent out. And we wanted to do rentals more. And actually, I ended up studying real estate a little bit more. We realized it was hard to scale. We wanted to do more rentals, and we seen a great opportunity for it, but it was just hard to scale with the rental houses, especially with the price of homes at the time. When COVID hit and business slowed down, I also realized that I had to do something else outside of business, and real estate looked like a great opportunity. Originally, I was looking at purchasing real estate out of state, and I was doing some multifamily investing in Georgia and Texas as well. In the past year, though, I started seeing a huge opportunity with purchasing back here in Williston. So as interest rates rose across the country and jobs slowed down, I seen a lot of areas that were thriving for a lot of years starting to pump the brakes and slow down a bit. And when I looked here locally, it looked like there was a lot more opportunities. So that was my main reason with wanting to purchase here. And you mentioned Scully Design and what they're doing with the old Ford building. I'm excited for that, especially it's just going to bring so much new energy to that whole area. And the fact that we're doing these at the same exact time, it's really going to reliven downtown Williston.
Well, and the neat thing too, we go back, we're talking opportunity. The word gets thrown out a lot with Williston. There is opportunity. You mentioned interest rates are going up, but we still had proposals on the Ford building. That's getting a major rehab. You bought multiple buildings downtown. They're going to get a major rehab. And this is all regardless of what you're seeing with interest rates and cost of goods and materials of what's going on out there. So again, there's opportunity out there where you're going to see a good return on investment. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be doing these sort of things out there. We appreciate it. It revitalizes our downtown, something huge, and it's going to be a tremendously successful project when it's done. Advice, if you're talking to entrepreneurs, developers out there, what advice would you give them about City of Williston?
I think we have a lot of growth. Especially over the next 3 to 5 years, I think there's going to be tremendous growth. So for me, right now is a perfect time to buy. You mentioned interest rates. I hear a lot of people bring that up, that they want to wait until interest rates come down before they buy. I think that by the time interest rates are coming back down, the price is going to be even higher. So if you can get a property right now at the price point it's at, or get a good deal, I think we've gotten great deals on all of our properties. And actually, we mentioned these 4 town down buildings, but we also have another 48-unit apartment complex in Williston under contract as well. That
just keeps going.
And again, price point. Home prices here in Williston are expensive because there's a shortage of demand. The multifamily apartments, they overbuilt, and I think a lot of people are nervous about buying them because occupancies were low over the last couple of years. But for me, the opportunity I seen was occupancies are going up now, and these prices that they're selling for is tremendous discounts. So if I'm seeing, I'm expecting high growth over the next 3 to 5 years, I expect all these properties to be full and, business to be booming. So, they always say when there's blood in the streets, it's the time to buy. There's a lot of people that are nervous about investing because of the state of the country, the state of the world. And I think this area always seems to be the starting point of a build back of the economy. We've seen it in 2010 when it really took off in Williston, and I think we're seeing it again right now. I think it's going to start here, and which is going to be great for us as well, because like I said, there's thousands of jobs available, and people are struggling in the rest of the country, and I think this alone will help bring more people here, help build and grow our community. And I'm excited about the growth of Williston. because when I came out here in 2010, it grew quicker than it could stay. It couldn't withstand the amount of people coming in. So now we've grown, we've expanded. We have a lot more things to do for people, for families, and it's hopefully bring a lot better quality people up.
That's a good point to bring up, because I was going to make a comment on that. Is what you said. We're looking at some extensive growth ahead of us right now. The rest of the country is going to start to slow down, but you couldn't be more correct. Is that people may say, well, I don't want another 2010 or 2012. Well, it's going to be a different. It's going to be a different feel this time around, because from a city standpoint, hundreds of millions of dollars of infrastructure went into, whether you're upgrading the water systems, a brand new international airport, and other things out there that can handle the influx and capacity now of where we're going with the city of Williston. So yes, it's a little bit different this time around, is you're going to be able to handle some of the influx of the people. And I think we're ready to rock and roll as it starts to ramp up. Lev, we appreciate you having on the Williston Works podcast. We wish you many years of success. You're an oil man, you come up, you're a multifamily housing investor, you're a retail commercial investor. I got a feeling it's not stopping there. So we'll probably be talking in the next few years of the next things that you're purchasing. So thanks again for being on the podcast.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sean, for having me on. Thank you to the city of Williston, and excited to be working with you guys over the next few years.
Excellent.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Williston Works podcast, brought to you by the city of Williston. Please like and subscribe for more interviews, and to learn more about Williston, North Dakota, visit cityofwilliston.com. And special thanks to The Range Sports Bar and Simulators for providing the location to record this episode. Visit therangend.com to learn more. We'll see you next time on the Williston Works podcast.